I think we can start the session. Yeah, very good morning, everyone. So, hope you can see my screen and someone has already confirmed you can hear my voice. So, if an individual is not able to hear my voice, please check your audio settings there, right? So, welcome to the Generative AI workshop. I'm really excited to have you all here. So, firstly, I would like to say that in the next 2 hours, we are going to have a deep discussion on the overview of generative AI, firstly, and how generative AI has evolved and why it's such a big deal today. All right, and also you can see how you can become a part of this AI revolution, right? So stay engaged. Let us delve into this. All right. Yeah. Once again, welcome. So this is our today's agenda, right? uh, we'll begin with a quick look at the evolution of artificial intelligence. Okay, I am assuming that people here do not know what is artificial intelligence. Okay, so even if you know, you might not be knowing the history of artificial intelligence, right? So that part we'll cover, and also how the AI evolution has started and where we are. So that is nothing but the first point. And then the second one is also like historical evolution of AI, where we'll see how the AI systems, what are the different types of systems AI for artificial intelligence. Okay, and then we'll be going in depth details on generative AI. So what are the topics of generative AI, and uh, what are the concepts one has to cover when you join in any of the training as part of this generative AI for, program. All right, and then we'll discuss on career insights and job opportunities available for generative AI, and then future trends and industry impact. All right, so this is going to be I'm not going to keep it bored. Okay, I'm not going to make you feel bored while going to the session. Okay, let's keep this interactive. I'll be asking questions, and if some of you know, right, you can directly unmute yourself and answer to that. All right, and if you have any questions, we'll uh, take it up in the last half an hour or 20 minutes. Okay, yeah. So these things, we have been seeing the self-driving cars, or some machines, okay, which are able to, you would have seen this type of robots in IPL matches, right? And then this is computer vision techniques and coding, right? And the text generation part. So we have been looking at this these days widely. All right. Firstly, we'll have to know what is artificial intelligence. As I said, I am considering every one of you do not have idea of what artificial intelligence, because this term seems to be little advanced, right? When we say artificial intelligence, we think that this is an advanced topic and it is difficult to understand this topic or move into this artificial intelligence jobs. But that is wrong. All right. So learning artificial intelligence concepts or doing artificial intelligence jobs are easy when you have interest on it, and when the tutor explains you things interestingly. Okay, so that is one thing you must keep in mind. Okay, so you need not to scare about it. And firstly, artificial intelligence definition. Artificial intelligence is when machines think and act like humans. This we already know, right? So machines means it may be a software which can mimic human intelligence. Okay, and it can learn, solve problems, and make decisions. All right, so this is what artificial intelligence mean. So we need not to go advanced definition on it. Okay, and there is no advanced definition for artificial intelligence as well. This is a simple way of explaining artificial intelligence, and you can also say the same in interviews if somebody asks. Okay, and this thing you must know about it. This is a broader spectrum of artificial intelligence, and you see artificial intelligence is a large domain, and in that we have subfields. Okay, I know people came to know what artificial intelligence is, at least to the definition part, but you may not be hearing about this machine learning, deep learning, or generative AI thoroughly. Okay, yeah, generative AI is a buzzword. We'll keep this apart for now. Okay, but machine learning and deep learning, you wouldn't have heard about it thoroughly, because news journals or any blog post something will have a this words very frequently and generative AI very frequently. But to learn generative AI, you must know deep learning. From this part, you should have a thorough understanding of the concepts, so that you'll become a better generative AI engineer. So coming to machine learning, machine learning is not required for generative AI, because these are conventional methods. Basics of machine learning is mandatory, that is for sure. But advanced level of understanding on machine learning is not required. Okay, and artificial intelligence is a broader field. All right. So when you start a preparation to generative AI, you must start your preparation with deep learning. So let us have a little bit of understanding on artificial intelligence, as we said. Then what is machine learning? So machine learning is a part of artificial intelligence where machines learn patterns from data and make decisions. Okay, so machine learning, as you know, you're teaching machine, you're sending data to machine, and you're asking machine to learn from it, and then you're asking machine to do a task. That is nothing but machine learning. Okay, if you do not understanding at this point, you need not worry. We'll cover about this in the different slides. Okay, and deep learning is a subfield of artificial intelligence. Okay, where this uses large neural networks to learn from unstructured data. So unstructured data, when we say, if you're a data engineer, data scientist, machine learning engineer, or tester, or you are in any domain of IT industry, you know the difference between structured and unstructured data, right? Structured data is nothing but we have rows and columns in a table format. Okay, and unstructured data is nothing but that data won't be in a structured way. It will be like images, audios, videos, something like that. Okay, that is nothing but your deep learning uses unstructured data. All right. So yeah, and what is generative AI? Generative AI is a buzzword. We'll know about it thoroughly in the next slide itself. Okay, so this is the question: what is generative AI? If I ask you, as you're already using ChatGPT very frequently these days, okay, while solving your any kind of general questions or coding related questions, or your in your day to day life, we are using ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, etc., etc., right? So these are all the products of generative AI that you already know. Okay, but when coming to this particular term, generative, so you must understand this. Like, generative is nothing but it is a technology that creates something. Am I right? So what this generative AI will do is, it creates these things: text, image, audio, and video. Okay, generative is a field which creates something, which creates a new content. So it may be text, image, audio, or video. So this is what our basic understanding. Every one of us know, because we are generating images from ChatGPT. Ghibli has come up recently, and you're already using that for creating the images, right? And then text for coding and all you are using. Audio also we have been using, and video you will come to know that many Hollywood industries have using generative AI for creating small clips in their movies. Of course, there are full-fledged movies created based on generative AI as well. We'll see that. Okay, but these are the main applications of generative AI, at least to our understanding, whatever we know. But but generative AI has been using widely in other fields as well. Many other fields, not only for text, image, audio, or video. We have been using generative AI in real time for many uses, many applications, and in many industries, like biological data sequences, where people are introducing new medicines, right? Drug discoveries, or the scans, image scans like MRI scan, etc., etc. We have a couple of medicine, healthcare related applications. We are using the generative AI there. Okay, and then 3D modeling. Okay, so many companies like Alstom or Detroit's, other companies are where they usually use a 3D modeling. They are widely using the generative AI. And then structured data, as you know, we are using generative AI is equipped into many of the other applications. If you take the Adobe Acrobat, where we use for PDF opening, there also generative AI has been used inside for summarizing the matter inside a document. Okay, so there are plenty of applications, not only the limited to these four. All right, so this thing you have to keep in mind. Generative AI is not only about creating text, creating content like text, image, audio, or video. Okay, hope you understood that. So this is the thing that focus on creating new content such as video, code, or data by learning patterns from existing data. Sorry. Now let's go to the main aim of this workshop. Okay, in this workshop we'll widely look at few things. See, as I said, generative AI has multiple applications like here, right? At least 20 or 25 applications are there outside, and many industries are using generative AI. In this workshop I'll be taking you thoroughly into the concepts of text related application. All right, so when we say about text related, it comes as a chatbots like ChatGPT or Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, etc., etc. That is not a chatbot Perplexity, but we are using Gemini, ChatGPT, right? So these are all text generation applications. All right, and virtual assistants we have been using, right? Many virtual assistants like GeoChat or Aksha AI, Haptic, etc., etc. There also, it is also text related, right? And the text summarization, if you see the text summarization, we are using InShots, way to SMS, and daily hunt, right? So what they do, they summarize the data. So if we have a let's say 3 4 paras of data, it summarizes the data and gives you in 50 lines or 20 lines. All right, so we are already using that. And sentiment analysis, we have been booking tickets, movie tickets in Book My Show and Zomato, etc., right? And they there we will provide the reviews, right? 5 star, 4 star, or we'll provide in the comments, right? So that part now AI is taking up, and based on the comment you keep, it is assigning a score like a 4 out of 5 or 4.5 out of 5. Not only that, it is analyzing your comment thoroughly. Okay, sometimes we give sarcastic comments, right? So the movie is really amazing. I can't understand anything. Okay, so those kind of comments also, the artificial intelligence is able to recognize and go into the patterns and identify. It is not exactly a positive comment, but it is in the medium level or in a sarcastic way. So that way we are creating applications based on generative AI. Even though it is a sarcastic, the machine is able to understand it. So those are nothing but your sentiment analysis. All right, and then content generation, you already know. Language translation, you are already using Google for converting from one language or translating from one language to the other. And then personalized recommendations and content curation. Okay, so you are already using Flipkart or Amazon, etc., etc., right? Where you buy a product or you keep a product in your wish list, but when you close it and reopen it once again, or you go back into the home page, you will see the recommended products over there. So all these are like machine learning algorithms which are happening, but now we took the generative AI into that, and generative AI is able to do that as well. All right, and then code generation, which you already know, I need not to say, because we are already using it many times in our systems, day to day life. Knowledge management and Q&A systems, right? um, and data extraction and information retrieval, text based games like Chat GPT adventures or story mirror. Okay, so all these points over here are text based applications, and we are going to look at thoroughly on this text related capabilities of generative AI today and text related evolution of generative AI today. Okay, hope I think you got what I'm really trying to say here. And these are milestones of artificial intelligence. So, if some of you do not know, artificial intelligence has started its journey from 1950s or even 1940s itself. Okay, the ideas of artificial intelligence came in 1940s. To keep it precise, 1943. Okay, so 1950 is are the major milestones I have kept here, and so people have thought, can machines think in 1950? It is a Turing test. You can Google it. You'll get a good understanding of that, right? And then 1956, artificial intelligence coined it. The name artificial intelligence coined it one conference, and in 1967, rule-based chatbot was introduced into the society, right? And expert systems. And 1988, the sequential generation of data, like the sentences the chatbots are using, right? If we say how are you, it is saying I'm good, and what about you? So it is nothing but creating the text, right? So that type of text related started from RNN discovery. Okay, in 1988, these recurrent neural networks were introduced. Okay, so firstly I would like to stop here, because whatever I'm telling you verbally, right? So you may not grasp everything into your mind, right? So because this and all is just a topic that you should have a idea on, but you need not a thorough understanding. That's the reason I'm saying verbally. So if something is required, I'll open my notepad and I'll explain it clearly in the coming slides. All right, for now you just sit relaxed and listen to that. Okay, this is just a basic understanding of things. And recurrent neural networks we have seen, and LSTMs, yes, I have told you. Deep learning, okay, so deep learning is what changed everything. Okay, how machines can think like human. That concepts were introduced when deep learning came into existence. All right, so 2012, this is a major milestone. And 2017 transformers, it changed the way chatbots interact with the humans. All right, so you will get a very good understanding, but this is a major milestone of artificial intelligence. You will see it later on, but for now, yes. And 2018 to 2023, 2018, you know, right? There were some GPT-1 or some chatbots were introduced at this particular time. And 23, you can see, in 23 November, ChatGPT application was introduced by OpenAI with GPT 3.5, right? So these are the major milestones, but I would like to tell you one more milestone over here, which comes around 2016. All right, 2016 is when artificial intelligence, artificial intelligence AlphaGo algorithm, which was introduced by Google, it defeated the world champion in the game of Go. All right, if you do not know what Go game is, I was saying about Go. The game. Okay. So in 2016, one algorithm, it is called as AlphaGo. All right, so it was introduced by Google, defeated the world champion. See, this is a, I did not keep it over here, but even IBM's one algorithm also defeated a champion in chess before that. All right, so these type of things, when we hear, we'll be surprised, right? How a machine is able to defeat human, that too in 2016, which we do not know at all. All right, but now if you see, the generative AI is exploding like anything, and generative AI has become a major part of our life, right? So now you would see artificial intelligence is surpassing human intelligence in a, with a huge gap. All right, so these type of examples prove it. Okay, and yeah, these are types of artificial intelligence. Okay, so if some of you do not know, this is one aspect of categorizing the artificial intelligence. Okay, so firstly we got rule based AIs, and then we have machine learning, we have deep learning, and then we have generative AI today. Okay, so what is this rule-based AI? So rule-based AI is nothing but, when people have introduced a machine or algorithm which can talk to them, okay, like sending the text to humans using the if and then rules. You I assume that people are already using some kind of programming language in their day-to-day life, in their professional activities. However, I'm not saying that you are all using the programming language, okay, but if you are using that, we'll have if and then rules, right? In the same way, the this chatbots were introduced. Okay, so they were working on the principles of if and then. So the example being, here is a chatbot, all right, and then in and coming to this machine learning, it came up in 1980s, okay, and in 2000s it was used very widely in all the e-commerce websites or the chatbots you see in IRCTC or etc etc, right? Even before generative AI was in this world, right? Those were all working on this machine learning algorithms itself, but these are machine learning is a conventional way of conversing with people, but this generative AI is completely different, right? And machine learning and then deep learning, I have already told you, deep learning is where the thought has come up like, can machines think like humans? So this is the question our researchers got in mind, and then they introduced a concept like deep learning with artificial neural networks inside. Okay, so you do not have to worry about these terms. We'll explain this clearly in the coming slide. All right, and then generative AI, as we know, we have discussed about it. So these are the types of artificial intelligence. Now, so yeah, we'll take this workshop in a sequential way, or we'll go through this in a historical way, what happened first and what happened next. All right, so first we got this machine learning era, and now if you see, we have plenty, like around 4 lakh to 5 lakh machine learning engineers are available in the market in India, at least for now, today. All right, so even if you are a machine learning engineer who joined this session, right, you already know what machine learning can do, right? To those who do not know what machine learning is, machine learning is nothing but, we are teaching a machine by sending a data to it, okay, and then we are asking it to do some task. Okay, what is that task? We'll have a discussion on it as well. Now let us just have a definition of it. Machine learning is when machine thinks, learns patterns from data without being explicitly programmed. Okay, you can strike this out for now, but a machine, if it can learn patterns from data, then it is part of machine learning. All right, then what we do is we train a model, and the more data you train it, the better the model becomes. Okay, so these things you can ignore for now, but if you understood, it is well and good. All right, machines are learning patterns from data is nothing but your machine learning and doing tasks from that particular data. Okay, when we see, so this is a machine, I said, so it is learning from, it is studying the data, and then it will learn, and then it will get up and do that particular task over here. Okay, it's just a comic way of representing machine learning. All right, this is not the actual, but I just kept it for your to go through it. And you must know the machine learning applications that we are using every day, right? So for example, if you are using Gmail, sometimes we get spam emails, right? So where will it get loaded? They'll be loaded into spam folder, right? And if you get any promotional things, it will be going into promotions, and social will be going into social, right? And if it is a personal email, it will be dropping into your inbox. Am I right? So this segregation of emails, or the division of spam emails and non-spam emails, is also being done by an algorithm inside, right? So that particular algorithm is nothing but your ML algorithm. Okay, and then recommendations, you see in Flipkart, you know, you buy a mobile of one company, and immediately you will get a recommended items over here from that particular company or in that price range, or based on your ratings, however you you know, interact with that platform, it will be providing the recommendations. So that is nothing but your recommendation, this e-commerce recommendation, which is being done by machine learning algorithm again. And then Google Maps, you see the distance calculation from one place to the other, or if you find heavy traffic in one area. So all these have huge part of machine learning inside. All right, now you know, they developed or advanced in a huge way when generative AI has come up. Okay, but earlier we were using machine learning only. So the applications of machine learning is not limited to these three. Okay, so we see customer service chatbots, or stock market predictions are there, right? So those were also you know, applications of machine learning. Okay, not many of the people are using, but you know, there is a great audience for that particular applications as well, which is using machine learning deep inside. All right, and the smart home devices, where we need not to go and switch off fan or light, just you know, by the hand movements or etc etc, machines are able to identify and then do the task, right? So that is also part of your machine learning. Okay, hope you got a better idea on things now. So there was this time when we wanted to make a shift from data learning. So whatever the machines we have, so it used to learn from data, right? It used to learn from data, and then they used to do the particular task, but this is time consuming. We have to feed the data first, and then we have to you know, tell it to do any task. So that is one part of your artificial intelligence, which we called as machine learning, right? But we have moved from this particular step to human like learning. All right, so we wanted a machine to think exactly like human. So in that way, you know, you need not to train the model in a huge quantities, like huge amounts of data, etc etc. Okay, so we wanted a machine to think like human. So that is when, why we are thinking like that, why we want a machine to think like human. Okay, because we want some kind of technology that can replicate the human capabilities and performs tasks with a greater efficiency, equal to human or exceeding that particular ability. All right, so that is the reason we wanted a machine to think like a human. So that is the point deep learning has come up. All right, hope you understood this. So deep learning is when we wanted a machine to think like human. All right, we'll have a good understanding on this deep learning as well in the coming slide. For now, this is the evolution, it happened. Okay, then now we'll have to introduce what deep learning is. So I told you, right, machine learning, the applications of machine learning, like YouTube, this Flipkart recommendations, etc etc, right? So you already know what a machine learning in a basic way, but what is this deep learning? So this is a slide that I use in my classes to teach this particular concept to my students. This is one of the slides that I use in my PPTs. Usually I keep animations like this in my classes, so that I believe this will you know, it will easily make people understand the concept. All right, that is the reason I use most of the animations in the PPT slides in my classes. So I'll explain these things over here, and then I open a notepad and I'll explain the concept, etc etc, in the notepad by writing. So that way you'll have a 2 times revision of the concept, right? So that's the method I follow usually, and this is a slide I usually use, right? So what is deep learning here? Deep learning is a subset of machine learning and artificial intelligence, which you already know. And then it uses multi-layered neural networks. Okay, so this thing you can keep it apart aside for now, but you take this point as noted. So deep learning is inspired by the structure and functioning of the human brain. So how is this happening? How deep learning is inspired by the structure? Right. So on the left side, you see brain, right? Human brain. So in human brain, if you have a bit of knowledge on biology, and if you recall our 10th class classes, you know, brain is made up of billions of neurons, or brain is made up of billions of nerve cells. That is a one mark question we used to have, right? So and this is one particular nerve cell or neuron inside. All right. So here what happens is that we get some information. So for example, I am talking to you right now. So my brain is making a lot of processing inside, right, to deliver a word or deliver a sentence to explain you the concept. So that part of processing is exactly this thing. Okay. So there is a nerve cell which is connected to some other nerve cell, okay, on the right side. So it is getting some information from here, from some other nerve cell. And you know, this cell body over here, it will process that particular information, and synaptic terminals over here, it provides the output to the other nerve cell. Okay. So if somebody pinched you, okay, you will be getting that pain sensation, right? So that pain sensation as well, it will be traveling like this. So the input will be coming, so it is a input, pain signals will be coming, and then cell body will be processing that. So it is the input has come and I need to process, and cell body will be processing it. And synaptic terminals over here, they will give the nerve cells output. Okay. So the nerve cells will be connected, and at last you will feel that there is a pain, somebody has pinched me on the leg or hand. Okay. So this is the processing exactly happening inside your brain, inside your nerve cell, single nerve cell. In the same way, scientists want to create a neural network. So this we call it as natural neural network. Your brain can be called as natural neural network. Okay. And then our researchers or scientists wanted to create the natural neural network artificially and call it as artificial neural network. All right. So here also we are getting input from one network. So this is input layer, and then some here the processing is happening, right? So that processing will be happening inside this hidden layer. So this is a cell body, okay, naturally. And then output layer, the synaptic terminals, they'll produce the output, right? So input, process, output, input, process, output. So scientists have created this network which is called as artificial neural network, because this is not a natural one, right? This is an algorithm or a network which we created artificially, so they call it as artificial neural network. And the in-depth study of artificial neural networks is nothing but your deep learning. Hope you understood the concept, right? The study of artificial neural network and applications of neural network is nothing but your deep learning. Neural networks is introduced by your deep learning. So, and neural networks were introduced by deep learning. We can say in different ways, but neural network and deep learning are very much connected with each other. Hope you understood now. So I explained you what deep learning is, and I told you that it is nothing but making a machine to think like a human. You must know the applications of deep learning, right? So here are the applications. So different problems in the real world requires different types of deep learning models. Okay. Whether it is a text related data like chatbots or whatever. So the chat gpt or Gemini that you are using, it is part of text data, right? So these are the applications of deep learning, or these are the neural networks deep learning has introduced, people have introduced in this domain. And then image data, if you want to see, we can we'll have to discuss on cnn's. So today this is not our concept, because in this 2 hour workshop I cannot explain things deeply, or at least give a overview, because it exceeds things, right? Okay. So this is the part of image related data. Okay. Object detection, image classification, medical imaging like x-rays or mris, ct scans, etc., etc. So these are all part of your CNNs. Okay, and RNN, if you see, it is nothing but sequential data creation, where it creates a sentences. Okay, we'll have a deep understanding this over these things in the coming slide. Okay, yes, hope you got. So first we'll discuss on RNN, and we'll see the limitations of it, and then we'll go to LSTM. We'll see limitations of it, and then we'll enter into this particular transformers, which is which is a very important topic of your generative AI, advanced generative AI. Okay, LLMs, etc., etc., are completely dependent on this particular concept. Okay, now, so how this RNN used to work? Okay, I have kept a simulation over here. So this simulation also I use in my classes to make people understand how the RNN used to work in 1960s. Okay, and this is a part of your generative AI. If you join any generative AI course, they must explain you on this RNN as well, because if you know the limitations of it only, you will be understanding understanding the transformers concept. Okay, so now, so I asked, this is a chatbot I am talking with. Now I introduce myself. My name is Naveen, and I'm from Hyderabad, and the climate over here is very warm. Okay, so it is saying that, hello, how can I help you today? That is good, that's a good reply. And then I said, I am working on comparing different neural network models. So it said, that sounds interesting, what specific models are you comparing? Okay, it replied in a very nice way. And then, can you, I got a doubt whether it is remembering my name and my location. I said, can you remind me what my name is and which city I'm from? It said, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name or city. This is the biggest limitation of RNNs, or recurrent neural network. And afterwards, I even asked, what did I mention about the climate? It said, I don't recall it. Okay. So now you understood the limitation of RNN. So let me take out my notepad and explain you things. So hope you understood this RNN. Okay. So what is the biggest drawback of RNN is that it was struggling with long range context. So it did not remember my name and my location, right? So RNNs, when I ask you what is the limitation of RNN, you understand, right? They forget. That is the biggest limitation of RNN. Okay, so I kept over here the words. Okay, so if I give it the fifth word, the capability of it remembering the fourth word is reducing. Okay, so if you are chatting with that chatbot, it will remember your recent words, but it will forget the previous words. This is the memory retention percentage over here. The first word, and when the second word comes up, the first word goes to 55%, 45%, etc., etc., right? So yes, hope you understood the limitation of RNN. So let me write it over here, because you must have good understanding on this to understand the concept of transformers. That is the reason I'm telling everything. Okay. Now, so what do we understand about RNNs is that memory fades away over long distances, right? So this is one biggest problem of RNN. And then if we say about one more limitation, word to word processing will be happening inside. So if we give, this is Naveen, so it first process the this, and then is, and then Naveen. So you can understand in this way, word to word processing will be happening. So these are the biggest limitations of RNN. Okay, hope you understood that. So RNN, what is this RNN? RNN was used for creating the text. Am I right? It was used for creating the text. And this is the one of those first models, first neural network which was used for, which was used widely in creating the text or sequential data, time related data. So this is your RNN. Hope you understood this. So then what happened? So RNN was introduced and it was not working fine and it has a biggest limitation. Then people, our researchers, introduced one more concept which is called as LSTM. Okay, so this is a simulation of LSTM, but I would like to say here, LSTM is a special type of recurrent neural network. It is also a neural network, all right, but it has a not a biggest limitation what RNN is having. Okay, it is designed, actually it is designed to remember the long-term dependencies, which is the biggest limitation of a recurrent neural network. Now let us see. So I'm chatting with this, right? Now let us see how it is chatting with me. All right, just give me a second to introduce the concept over here. LSTM, right? So it is also a kind of a neural network as well. All right, so it is a special type of recurrent neural network. Okay, so we will see the simulation of it now. Yeah, I introduced myself to it. I'm Naveen from Hyderabad, and I work with AI. All right, so it introduced nicely. Hello Naveen, nice to meet you. What kind of AI work do you do? Okay, I said I am building a chatbot that works in English, Telugu, Hindi, Tamil, and Japanese and Chinese. It said, that's impressive. What kind of tool are you building? Okay, I said sentiment analysis system. Okay, so book my show ratings are there, right? So it is able to understand the sentiment, right? Whether it is positive or negative. So I said that I was building a system which analyzes the sentiments. Okay, after 5 hours of continuous conversation with it, okay, after 5 hours of continuous conversation with it, I asked it again, where am I from? It is said you are from Hyderabad. That is nice. RNN was not able to give this reply as well. And I asked it, what languages did I mention my tool supports? All right, and it said you mentioned multiple languages, but I don't recall which specific ones. I already, I again asked it one more question. It said, I'm not sure about that particular detail that your manager was asked to do. So what did you understand from this? RNNs will have that capability. RNNs know what to remember and what to forget. So it remembered my name correctly here. Naveen, it is able to remember nicely. But when I asked it what are the different languages my sentiment analysis system was working on, okay, 6 languages it must say this answer, but it said I'm not able to recall that particular information. So it is able to remember mandatory information or important information like this, but it was not able to remember this particular information. Okay, but we need this particular information as well, right? So this is again a limitation of LSTM. Hope you understood. It is able to remember long term dependencies much better than RNNs. but again it was suffering with vanishing gradient problem. Okay, this is a term that we use in deep learning. For now you can ignore this, but this is a case actually. It was suffering with vanishing gradient problem. Okay, which means it is not able to remember everything. Remembering everything is not possible here as well, here also, which is again a biggest limitation of this LSTM. So hope you understood this. So RNNs, whatever the limitation we have, to some extent LSTM is able to fulfill that, but it is not able to remember everything. So which is again a limitation, right? But if you keep a big minus over here, biggest negative over here, it reduces that minus to this extent. Okay, but it did not completely fulfill our requirement, which is remembering everything, whatever we send the information to it. Long-term dependencies was again a problem over here. Okay, yeah. Now, what happened? So this is the simulation that I showed. So if I talk the, and you set the fourth word, the memory retention of the first word is not like RNN, which was around 40%, 30%, 20%. It was reduced drastically. However, if you see here, the memory retention capability of LSTM is far better than RNN. Okay, and if I send it a 30th word, the first word's capability will be around 20%. So the long range dependencies is again a problem for LSTM here as well. That is the problem of LSTM. Hope you understood this. Okay, hope you guys are following me, because these are the basic concepts. If in my class, this I'll we'll have to discuss each the concept in 2 hours or 2.5 hours. These RNNs I usually take more than 2 hours to write the code and explain things over there, creating the chatbot. How do we do that? Okay, so I'll spend 2 hours, because if you know how to write lines of code, a small code for creating a neural network like RNN, you will have a better understanding in advanced models of generative AI. That is the reason I usually start from RNN. All right. So before that, when I introduce the deep learning, I teach it for 4 hours. Okay. Then I introduce you to the sequential models like RNN and LSTM. Then each of the concept again for 2 hours, etc., etc. So in that way, you will have a sequential learning and in-depth learning. All right, and you will come to know how to import the libraries, how to train the model, how to give the inputs to the model, etc., etc. Those kind of things you will be having a better idea if you follow this sequence in any of the training that you join. All right, so you understood that RNN and LSTM, they were working fine. They were used till 2017 for creating the chat or translation or for voice assistants. Nice. So till 2017, we were using that particular neural network for these purposes, but the limitations were already there. It was the word-to-word processing was happening on both RN and LSTM, right? So whatever we have here in RN and word-to-word processing, so there for LSTM as well. Word-to-word processing, if you have if you are writing less words, to process the words, it takes a hell lot of time, right? Fine. So here also word processing happen, which is again limitation. So if you are having the word processing, then the trend will be very slow. And the problem is again with memory fading over time is RNN and LTM. Right? Slow, then large data sets is difficult, very difficult. Right? These are the limitations. Then there was a break in artificial intelligence. In our time, researchers were thinking for a better idea to exceed these limitations. To avoid these particular limitations, we need to introduce Oh, sorry guys. I think uh, I think there was some network issue, and yeah. Hope you can hear me clearly now. Can you hear me? Yes. And you were able to see my screen earlier, right? Yeah. Can you give me the permission to share my screen? I think I lost the permission once again. One second, guys. I think I need to get permission from DurgaSoft for sharing the screen. Okay, I think I lost it. So for now, do you have any doubts? Like this time, we can utilize for any kind of doubts. If you have any doubts, you can ask me at this moment. So I'd like to ask this question to you. So we were, we have introduced the transformers concept to you, right? So what are the differences between the transformer and the, conventional neural network models we had? Can someone answer to this question? Please unmute yourself and please unmute yourself and please try to give a little bit of overview on the differences. Okay, we covered this, right? So can someone at least say we covered, you were able to hear this, right? Transformers. Guys, you have to unmute yourself because I can't see your chat. Did we go through these transformers or not? This particular page.
No, we haven't.
We did not, right? And we
Yes.
explained limitations appeared.
Yeah. We covered until LSTMs.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, so I have explained you the limitations for this conventional neural networks, right? This part. Hello. All right then. So let us discuss on transformers again. So we had this couple of limitations or disadvantages of using our conventional neural networks. You can see my screen, right? I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So these are the I have written. I thought like I was in the call and I was going in a flow. All right. I have written just now, and these are the differences between RNN and LSTM, and your these are the conventional neural network models, right? For text generation or sequential models we usually call, and transformers. As I said, we people have introduced in 2017, which was a major breakthrough in the in the real world. Till then, people thought like we need something. AI needed something faster, right? AI needed something faster, quicker, and in a better way. That was the time people have introduced these transformers. All right, and usage of transformers is this: they use a self-attention mechanism, and because of that, we were able to this was the disadvantage, right? The models were not able to remember the long text, but transformers made it possible. And due to word-to-word processing and some other disadvantages, these were slow to train. But when transformers was introduced, it able to take the train. Okay, the GPUs that people are using GPUs, uh, you will have a understanding concept in our first, because that the model trainings will be happening on GPUs only, because CPUs are very slow, right? extension message.
Yeah, your voice is breaking.
Sorry, can you see my screen? Sorry, I don't understand why it is disconnecting.
Yeah, now we can see.
Yeah, okay. I had some problem with my laptop and I had to from someone. So I think it is not. Uh, uh,
Your voice is breaking. Not clear.
okay, this is okay, but I think. So usually I use these presentations for my classes, but I'm extremely sorry. I don't understand what's the problem with this, laptop. It is disconnecting frequently. I planned it, but due to some reason I couldn't use my laptop from morning, right? So uh, when we explain about natural language processing, we'll introduce you to this particular concepts where a machine converts the words into numbers, all right, whether it may be numerical representations, all right, embeddings or one hot encoding, etc., etc., right? uh, in this way we'll explain, we'll take you to RNNs and then LSTMs, and then we'll introduce you about this transformers topic. Okay, so since we have this time constraint, I'm not able to tell you clearly or in a in-depth manner of this self-attention mechanism, etc., etc., but this is very very important. All right. Okay, convolutional neural network. Okay, let me open this workshop presentation once again. So firstly, so all the LLMs, work on the principles of transformers. The self-attention mechanism will be the backbone of all the LLMs, because it is a mechanism which is behind the transformers, right? Okay, so I already explained you the differences between RNN and LSTM and the transformers we have. How the transformers avoided all the limitations what these neural network models were having. Okay. So these are the models. Usually, when we say this Chat GPT or Gemini, etc., etc., all these models from GPT-4, Claude 3, Gemini 1.5, etc., etc., all of the LLM models will be using transformer mechanism behind them. All right. So it was introduced by OpenAI. GPT-4, I think most of you are already using the ChatGPT application, right? So all these models we have here, all these LLMs will be using transformers. This is a thing you have to remember. And this is a simple representation of evolution of language models. All right. So this is not important, but this gives you a the sequence of things. 2017 we got the transformers, right? And 2018 we got GPT. um, BERT was introduced by Google. It was having 340 million parameter. So you may not know what this parameter mean, but when we introduce you to the concept of deep learning, there you will get a very good understanding this on this. So parameters may be the weights and biases that we use for training the model. All right. And GPT was introduced by OpenAI. So GPT 3.5, I guess it is having 175 billion parameters. Okay, now the LLM models that people are using widely, they might be having trillions of parameters. Okay, so in 2018 we got this GPT, BERT, etc., and 22 we got all these LLMs, and 2023, these ones. Now, usually in my classes, I keep these kind of mind maps to have a quick understanding of things and the sequence of things in a better way. Right? If I write all these things over this notepad, it takes 1 hour of time. So it is a waste of time both for both you and ourselves, right? So that is the reason I keep whatever the important things we have in a slide manner. And then we came to this LLM. All right, what this LLM is, I would like to ask you, if somebody knows what is a large language model, I request any of you to unmute yourself and explain me this. What is a large language model? What do you know? What is the meaning of it? Can someone please unmute yourself and answer to this question? What is LLM? Okay, fine. So LLM is nothing but a large language model. All right. So this everybody knows, but we must know why it is large, why it is a language model, and what is a model. Okay. Yeah. First, we need to know why large, right? So the answer to this is the model is trained on billions of words. Am I right? And uses millions or billions of parameters. Okay, and it can store vast parameters, amounts of major points why we call a model a large language model. Okay, it was trained on billions of words and it uses billions of parameters, which I was saying, right? 175 billion models for GPT, parameters for GPT 3.5. And then we have this, it can store vast amounts of knowledge. This is one other thing. Now, why language? Why language again? Because it specializes in understanding and generating human language, right? Chat GPT nowadays is able to talk exactly like humans, right? Chat GPT more than humans way of interaction, right? So this language is nothing but the capability of a model on its understanding and generating human language, right? And then handles text like sentences, paragraphs, and conversations, etc. Yes. So these are the reasons why we call it as language. Okay, so this is the meaning of large language model. It is trained on billions of words, and it is having millions and billions of parameters, and then it is specialized in understanding and generating human language just like humans. Okay, so these are the main points when we say about a large language model. Okay, so we are using this large language model daily, and this is the definition of it. LLM means large language model which is trained on huge amounts of AI, Google, Meta, etc. So this you already know. The ChatGPT is from OpenAI, and Gemini from Google, and Llama is from Meta. Okay, but do you think an LLM is having any limitations? We must know the limitations of it, right? And a large language model like ChatGPT, if you take, these are the limitations. Okay, we'll have a thorough understanding of these limitations. So what do you feel the limitation of LLM? Firstly, the first one you should get in mind is outdated information. Okay, so for example, if we take GPT 3.5 etc., which was free in from a couple of months, right? But now it is not there. Even GPT 4 also is not available. I guess we got Omni, etc., etc. models, right? So if you ask a question, uh, okay, before that GPT was trained up to 2021 knowledge only. Okay, whatever the knowledge it is having, it is limited to the year 2021. And if you ask it a question, what happened in 2020, 22 or 23, etc., will it be able to answer your question? No, correct? Why? Because this is the limitation an LLM is having. So whatever the answer it is providing, its knowledge is up to that particular limit where it was trained, when it was trained, until when it was trained. Okay, this is the biggest limitation of an LLM. And then no access to private data. Okay, so you are working in some service based company. Okay, let's say any company, and you have a doubt like uh, what are the holiday periods of Hyderabad, Mumbai and Delhi. And if you have this question from your company, all right, and if you are asking this particular question to chat GPT or any other LLM, will it be able to answer it correctly? No, because it is not having access to your company files or databases, right? It is not having private data or specific data, right? This is one more biggest limitation of LLM. And what is the third limitation? The third limitation is limited context window. Okay, so every model has a maximum number of tokens it can handle at a time. Max number of tokens it can handle at a time. This is important, at a time. So this is nothing but your limited context window. Okay, and these are the three biggest limitations of your large language model. Okay, so how to overcome these limitations? So this was again a question to our to everybody, right? So this is a question: how can we give an LLM current, specific and private data and make it answer intelligently and responsibly? Okay, so that was the time people have introduced you to a concept of RAG, retrieval augmented generation. Okay, now let us understand this thoroughly. What is RAG? So RAG, fetches relevant information from a knowledge base, like you know a text file, Word, PDF, database, web, website, etc., etc. It can fetch those particular information from any of these particular data stores or data sources, all right, and give you data. So you were asking this question, right? What are the holiday periods for Hyderabad, Mumbai and Delhi? And if you provide this particular information in a document way, a RAG is able to answer your question, right? Answer this question perfectly, because it is having this information in it already readily available. So this is a main advantage of using RAG. So nowadays, whatever the LLMs we are having, okay, they are equipped with both LLM for answering your question and RAG for extra information or additional information or additional specific information. Am I right? So whatever the chatbots you have, you are having both in it, LLM plus RAG. So LLM, as you know, this is a large language model which is having vast knowledge, and RAG is something which can provide you additional specific information like your company data or your personal information or whatever it is. So combining these two only, we are making many of the chatbots. And this is the flow. Okay, user asks a question. For example, for here we have what is the maternity policy. That is the question user is having. User may be anyone, maybe yourself. So it is sends the query, and then the RAG system, it retrieves and sends the context. So RAG will be having that particular data, right? 16 weeks paid leave, etc. This information will be in a document. Okay, and the RAG will send this information to LLM. LLM will get this particular information, 16 weeks paid leave, and creates a, since it is capable of talking like a human. Okay, now it creates a better sentences with this particular information. So if your question is like this, what is the maternity leave policy, LLM will be answering like the maternity leave policy in this so and so company is 16 weeks paid leave. Okay, so LLM is able to do that particular thing. So these three combined is nothing but your way of creating a chatbot. Okay, but is this enough? Okay, that is another question. Is LLM and RAG combination helps us building a chatbot? Okay, so this is a question everybody should be getting inside. Okay, so if you want to build this, yes, you can do. All right, but you'll have to write hundreds of lines of code. But if you see the generative AI engineer, the real-time generative AI engineer, for example, myself, am I writing hundreds of lines of code in my day-to-day life? In my daily activities? Not at all. Because generative AI, even if you are going to work in any project as a generative AI engineer, you know, what you will be doing is most of the time you will be importing those particular models, like importing OpenAI model, etc. Okay, this is the LLM model, and importing your embedding models. Okay, so since you are using OpenAI model, you will be importing OpenAI embedding. Okay, and then etc etc. This is a task you will be doing as a generative AI engineer. Okay, but I'm not writing hundreds of lines of code, because even if I have lag and rank chain, sorry, LLM and drag, I need to write a lot of code and I need to suffer a lot, because the coordination between these two, between LLM plus RAG, is difficult. Of course, not only this, we have certain other components for building a chatbot, but these are main, right? Handling the coordination between these two components is completely difficult. Okay, if you do not have a framework. Okay, so we need to understand what that framework is. The framework is nothing but the LAN chain. Okay, so LAN chain is an open source work designed to build powerful applications like large language models by connecting them with external data and memory. All right, so here there is a person, this is an orchestra, and here we have a person, a main person, who will control everything, right? When this guy has to work, when this lady has to work, and when this guy has to work, etc etc. So he is coordinating everybody, right? In the same way, LLM is going to control or maintain the coordination between all these things. All right, so here in our case, I am introducing this open source framework, LangChain. Okay, so this is the main advantage of using LangChain. So if I use a open source framework like that, even in a cloud based chatbot, all right, you need not to write hundreds of lines of code. Okay, because it is well equipped with the coordination system inside. It is able to coordinate with all these components perfectly. Okay, so that is the usage of LangChain. All right, yeah, hope you understood. Okay, so this is a basic understanding of how a chatbot or a text related application will work, but you cannot understand that tell you how a chatbot works. Okay, I have a question. Okay, what is the company's maternity policy, right? ML policy. Let's say maternity is ML. Okay, now this particular thing, is your system able to understand this English language? Obviously no, right? So this English must be converted to numerical form or vector form. Okay, so for this we have to import some embedding models. Okay, so you may not understand what embedding model now, but this is basically the point exactly. Your English as a computer can't understand English language, it must be converted to some other numerical form or vector form, right? And then what happens, you will have a vector store, or rag is there, right? It fetches, it takes up that question, and a retriever component rag, it checks for the relevant information in the document info from the document, and this particular retriever component rag brings up that particular information info and provide to LLM. All right, so this LLM now, what it will do, the LLM is nothing but your chatbot or sorry, OpenAI, chat GPT or etc, anything LLM. So it is, since LLM is equipped with human understanding, and it has language, it will takes up this particular information given by this retriever. Okay, what is this relevant information here? The metric policy for this company is 16 weeks. That particular task, it provides that information to LLM, and LLM, as it is very good at human like understanding and human like conversing, it creates a text and provides to front-end application. Front-end application means the chat GPT application you are using, right, where you type the question. So this front-end application, it will be providing, and you can see the answer to this question. Of course, there are prompt templates, etc., etc., that will have to go in depth. All right, but this is what actually happening inside a chatbot. Hope you understood this. Now comes up the other question. So hope you understood the LangChain and the use of it. All right, but we need to understand what this prompt engineering is and how this is essential. Right. Firstly, I would like to ask a question to you. What is meant by prompt? Okay, so the prompt is nothing but any information or the question we ask to any text based application like chat GPT, etc., etc. It is nothing but your prompt. Okay, in this prompt engineering, usually I explain this concept for 4 to 5 hours. Okay, in my regular classes, but we, since we missed some of the time, and of course we have a time constraint to settle all this in 2 hours, I'll be telling you, or I'll be explaining you the important features or the techniques used in the prompt engineering here. All right, now the first one is, in prompt engineering, you already know about what the prompt is. Okay, so that part I'm not covering, but the techniques I'll be showing here. What is this zero shot technique? So zero shot technique is where you just give the task. Okay, what do you mean by giving the task? So for example, you have this you have a requirement of translating one sentence to other sentence, other language, from one language to other. All right, and you give that model, uh, I need to go to, or I need to grab a pencil today for exam. Okay, let's say we have this, and you are just asking it to translate it directly. So let's say you wanted it to translate in Telugu or Tamil or Hindi. It will be without providing any example, you are asking the chatbot to do a task, right? That is nothing but zero shot. Zero shot means zero example. You are not giving any example. Okay, if I give this particular example, like eat means khana, like kavo. Okay, play means kelna. Okay, these type of examples to your chatbot. So these are nothing but the examples you are going to provide, and the chatbot is able to understand it clearly. Now it provides the text in a very good way. Okay, the earlier chatbots like GPT-2 or GPT-3 or 3.5, we had this problem. We have to give a example to it, and then only it used to provide the translation to it perfectly. Okay, this is nothing but your zero shot. Zero shot means without giving these type of examples, you are directly asking it to convert this particular sentence to a different language. Okay, now we have one more thing, like few shot. So by now you would have understood what this short means. Okay, it is in a simple way, it is nothing but as example. Okay, so here also in a short means like I love AI. So I'll be translating, I'll be giving it a word, sentence like in Telugu or Tamil. I'll give it a translation. And then I love playing cricket. Okay. So these type of examples I give, and the responses also I'll give. And at last I'll ask a question to it. Okay. I like watching movies. So I wanted this to the chatbot to translate it. All right. In this way, chatbot is able to understand the context better, in a better way, and provides the answer to your question. This is nothing but your few shot prompting. Okay. And then we have instruction based prompting. Okay, where you clearly instruct the model what to do. Okay, so for example, summarize this paragraph in 100 words. Let's say if we give like this, you are instructing the chatbot to summarize this into 100 words, right? These are nothing but your instructions. So these type of methodology we follow is nothing but instruction based prompting. Okay, and then we have role based prompting, which people are using very widely these days. Okay, so this is nothing but we'll ask it to you act like a dietitian and provide me daily diet for a weight loss. Okay, so this is what you have given, and now your chatbot will be acting like a dietitian. You are assigning it a role, and then it provides the context or the information to you just like a dietitian. Okay, this is nothing but your role based prompting. And then we have one more, chain of thought prompting. Okay, so this is nothing but you are asking the model to, you ask the model to think step by step. Okay, so this is nothing but, for example, you are traveling by bus, okay, and your bus is going with a speed of 60 kilometer per hour. Okay, so per hour it is covering 60 kilometers, and then it covered 100 kilometer per hour. Okay, now is a total distance bus covered, and what is the average speed of the bus. If you ask this particular question directly to a chatbot, it might give you a wrong, because it may not be following a chain. Okay, so to calculating the distance, how do you calculate the distance? Speed by time, right? Speed into time, right? Okay, in the same way, it first has to calculate the average speed, and then it has to multiply that with the time, right? These type of calculations will be happening in a chatbot. So for this to happen in a chain wise, you need to provide a chain of thought prompting, like explain your steps. When you say what is the total distance bus covered, explain in steps. So these type of information, if you add in your prompt, it goes in a step by step manner. So that is nothing but your chain of thought prompting. Okay, yes. Now, so hope you got a good understanding. We'll have a quick doubt session later on, but I would like to emphasize this, because at this point, why you should learn generative AI, this is a question that most of the people are having, and I would like to answer this now. All right, so if you follow your any news articles or blogs, you might be seeing going to create lakhs of jobs. Okay, lakhs of jobs in the coming months, and it is going to start. It already started from November 2024. You can if you have a job portal like Naukri, etc., etc., you can see that generative AI, there are number of job postings, but we need to understand that though a lakhs of and millions of jobs are going to be created in the couple of months, there is a huge talent gap. Okay, 1 million talent gap. So 1 million resources are actually required for doing the work on generative AI. Okay, so hiring is boomed in 2025, and this thing, right, since it is a lack of skilled talent, there is a huge opportunity, and generative AI is emerging technology which is penetrating into many of the industries. Okay, and people or HRs are providing high paying roles for this particular technology because it is booming like anything. So if you ask the same question to ChatGPT, it will say that jobs of generative AI is exploding. Okay, so you can follow that. You can also see the World Economic Forum. Okay, there you will see millions of jobs are getting created by generative AI. All right, and there is a huge talent gap. How I mentioned over here, in 2025 we have around 5 lakh job vacancies we'll see in generative AI. Maybe it may fluctuate a little bit, but you'll see lakhs of jobs on generative AI starting from this year. And you can see the talent gap over here, 5 lakh jobs, and 2026 it is going to have 7 lakh, 2027. So you'll have millions of jobs in the coming 5 years. Okay, you can have a survey on this, or follow any survey websites as well. It will also say the same thing. And this I have taken from Bain and company research. All right, but if you search for any of the other journal or survey portals, you will find it in a better way, and more number of jobs over there than I have kept over here. This is the lowest prediction, or the lowest count prediction, but you'll have a bright things over future. Right? Job we have existing job roles are this, which you can see job portals are LinkedIn, etc., etc. All right, and the emerging roles in 2025 and 27 are these. you got this. So now it's time for us to introduce this particular thing. You must know what are the skills required for becoming a generative AI, right? Firstly, you need Python. Okay, any programming language, but Python is crucial. And then you must know the basics of stats and maths. Okay, and then you must know the ML essential concepts. Okay, and then you must know deep learning and NLP. NLP means till transformers. Okay, NLP and then advanced generative AI. Okay, these are the skill set required for becoming full generative AI. And this slide is all about the program that is being introduced by Durga, okay, which explains you from a basic level, zero level. Okay, so no prior in 3 months in-depth training will be having, and no prior knowledge is required because we are going to teach everything from here. The basics of, and then we'll be covering the libraries like NumPy, and then we'll be covering basics. Okay. Now, this is a 3 months in-depth program, and if we consider this as 80 days around, first day, first day, you will be ready to attend interviews. Okay, so on the 81st day, you can we'll help you in creating the resume, interview preparation, etc., etc. Everything we'll be doing, and you what is the thing we are expecting from you is the interest, okay, and the time. Okay, so now on the 81st day you will be ready to attend interviews. You can just upload your resume in the job portals that we that also will take care of. So the focus is mainly important for becoming a generative engineer, and we'll be giving you everything, the knowledge required for a generative AI engineer. So whatever after this course, you will be having a knowledge equal to that person who is working as a real-time generative AI engineer. Okay, so you can keep some experience and directly jump into this particular technology, and we'll be giving our level best, taking you from a zero level person to 100% knowledge person in generative AI. Okay, so yeah, the more details will be given provided by DurgaSoft. Okay, you can request them to provide the curriculum or more information on the pay, etc., etc. All right, so I hope already explained everything. Now is the time for any kind of questions, so you can ask me any kind of questions, and we have some time and we'll discuss on that.
Yeah,
Please.
your voice was breaking when you were saying about the prerequisites. So I'm just repeating that. So Python, all the list you listed some prerequisites, right? So all these will be covered part of this course.
Yes, yes, correct. Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you need not to have any kind of prior knowledge. So that is the thing we are saying. No prior knowledge required. Okay, knowledge required. And if you have that feeling like, am I going to understand the complete concept of generative AI? You need not to worry about that because we have simplified most of the concepts. Okay, and we will provide mind maps. Okay, we will provide mind maps for understanding everything, and we'll have simulation of neural network models, and we'll provide exclusive study material, okay, which contains the, okay, for example, I'm using NLP, right? So for example, this part is or can computer understand like that, and we are to provide these slides in as part of your study detail that we are going to provide. Okay, it is not loading up, but yeah. So we are making this presentation each and every concept to a better view of understanding. Okay, let me open this plan. Here you can see each of the people have the mind map inside. I think it is loading. It has again got the problem network problem, but I think you can. I hope you can see my screen. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you for confirmation. So, if for example this is deep learning, okay, don't get scared at some of the slides. Okay, those are all easy and we made them very easy. Okay, and I would like to show this mind map to you, how we are going to provide the mind map and how it looks like. So this is a mind map of deep learning, the concept and the sequence of it. Okay, and if I'm at this part of syllabus, you will understand what are the concepts we have covered earlier and what are the concepts that are going to come in the next classes. Okay, that way you'll have a overall picture of this deep learning. Okay, so we are maintaining these type of mind maps and simulations like you have seen, right? RNN, LSTM, etc, etc, all those kind of things. And if you see the large language models also, you will find it in the same way. So I would like to say that we'll make you interview ready. Okay, and whatever the doubts you are going to have, we'll provide the special sessions to you and clarify any kind of doubts you are having. Okay, so this way if we organize matter, it will be easy for understanding, right? If I draw the same diagram in this notepad or etc etc, it takes a lot of time, but we'll just show you this particular diagram and explain everything, just like anyone who is teaching. We'll explain everything thoroughly and make you understand that concept. Okay, these are the points that I would like to emphasize over here. Okay, so
Di-
any other questions?
daily 1 hour or 2 hour sessions.
Daily 1 hour. Yeah, sometimes based on your doubts 1 hour, we are going to fix, and based on your doubts, or if the concept needs a little bit of extension, we'll be telling that upfront, so that you can uh, make yourself ready, and we'll do that. It is 1 hour per day. So we are going to cover the concepts in such a way that we are giving equal importance to both theoretical and practicals. Okay. So yeah. Any other questions, please? Hello. Anyone have any questions? Please, you can ask me now itself. My screen was visible, right? When I was typing in the notepad. Okay, fine. If you do not have any questions, we can wind up the session. Thank you so much for joining, and hope we'll see in the next class. Okay, please, for any more information, kindly contact DurgaSoft. And 21st May is the demo. Okay, you can also join there. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. Classes will begin from 21st itself. So please try to join. Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great day.